All right, so for those of y'all that thought the story that I had posted uh, yesterday, the other day, pertaining to Khalil Chi, PhD student who murdered his university instructor. I know there was some speculation as to whether or not the story was even true or real. So I just want to, you know, again, I have a background in investigations. I worked as a private investigator previously. And one of the things that private investigators do is they research, they look into things. So I took it upon myself to look up this individual um, in the Orange County Sheriff's Office, which is in North Carolina, and there is his mugshot. So this was an actual real, and he wasn't hard to find because you don't usually see a lot of Asians in jail or any Asians in jail. Period. So this is the guy right here. That's his name. There's his age. Um, so yeah, that was the booking date, August 29th. The charge was murder in the first degree and then uh, possession of a gun on an education property or something to that effect. So this is real. It's not fake. I know oftentimes people might, look at some of these news stories and they get razzled by all the colors and, oh, this is Illuminati, this is the Freemasons trying to communicate something. While all that is definitely true, you do have that kind of stuff going on. But in this instance, this is not a fake news story. It's always very important to do your own research. Don't take anything that you see on mainstream media for face value. Always take it upon yourself to do your own researches, do your own checks to get valid information. So, what caught my attention with this story was the comment that this guy made. It was a statement he made on his social media. So let me just read through this. I'll read through the whole thing. UNC shooting update. Suspect Talil Chi complained about Professor uh, Ziji Yan online before Chapel Hill attack. Okay. Obviously, this person that he was having an issue with, this professor, um, you know, had crossed him in some kind of way. All right. Um, Talil Chi was a PhD student majoring in applied physical sciences major. Was arrested on first degree murder charge over the deadly shooting at Chapel Hill campus. Okay. Um, let's see here. The graduate student accused of killing his professor in a shooting at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill had complained about the victim online in the lead up to the attack. In the lead up to the attack, rather. Can't read today for some reason. Talil Chi, a PhD student majoring in applied physical sciences major, was arrested and booked into the Orange County Sheriff's Office jail on a first-degree murder charge on Monday for fatally shooting Ziji Yan, the head of the Department of Applied Sciences at Mr. Chi's academic advisor. In court on Tuesday, he was ordered to be held without bond. I actually saw that court hearing and is expected to appear for the next hearing on the 18th of September. Authorities said during Mr. Chi's court hearing that a 9mm was used in the shooting. And I don't think they've been able to even recover the firearm that was used at this point. The motive for the shooting remains unclear, but Mr. Chi's social media reveals he had complained, grumbled about his head of lab in the lead up to the shooting. Okay. They went to his social media. This is what he said. This is what Talil Chi said in his social media. Bully in America seems to be a problem. It often comes with people not stopping them at the first time, he wrote in one bizarre post in August 2022. Okay. So obviously, this dude had been going through some sort of bullying or harassment before the year 2023 because he wrote this in 2022. Okay. So this is what caught my attention. This statement right here that he wrote on his social media is what immediately caught my attention, that was an indicator to me that this dude was going through some sort of harassment. Okay. Oftentimes when these things happen, to people and they become aware of it happening. This gang stalking, COINTELPRO, organized stalking and harassment, stalking by proxy. There's so many different names. It's all the same entity. It all comes from the same entity. And oftentimes, when the targeted individual gets into a situation where they're having to go to court for something that happened, oftentimes these investigators, these news media people will go to their social media to try to get answers as to what's going on. Okay. These people are well aware of what's happening. The people in the media and all this, they know about this type of thing. And what you'll notice, the trend of it is they always try to make the targeted individual look like they're crazy. Notice how they said a bizarre post. Okay. That needs to be looked into. Don't be so quick to dismiss someone as being crazy or bizarre or odd or weird. It's always important to do your own investigation. Do not rely solely on the sources or the sayings of mainstream media. Okay? Because I could tell you about 90% of it is bullshit, and you only got 10% that's probably even truth. And then it's all mixed up at that to further confuse you more. Okay? So when it's the targeted individual has done something that warrants, a court case or what have you, oftentimes investigators will go to the social media. And that's why it's important for targeted individuals to be vocal about what is happening to them. Do not be afraid to post your videos exposing these criminals, because that's exactly what's going on. It's criminal activity. Don't let anyone ever try to persuade you from being silent about it, okay? This man's social media, if he had not posted this in his social media, I would have never had any interest in this news story. But again, the fact that he mentions bully in America, saying, his English is kind of broken because, he's from Asia. I think he's from China, but, he's talking about bullying in America. Okay. So, yeah, I just wanted to make that video because I know there were some people commenting, kind of like speculating as to whether or not this was real. It could have been some other type of stuff going on, and that may very well be the case. But again, I looked this guy up. I went to this website, Orange County Sheriff's Office, NorthCarolina.com. That's the website up here. Inmate listing. I typed in the dudes. I didn't even have to scroll. Like, I scrolled through, not even looking for the name. I said, let me look for the picture because, Asians have a distinct, like when you see Asians, like, the skin tone is very distinct and stuff like that. So he wasn't hard to find. Um, so yeah, that came up right there. So I just wanted to put that out there. I don't just post stuff out my ass, without, fact checking or looking into things. So yeah, it is important. I encourage you to continue to document, post your videos. If you can, the most important thing is being able to articulate what you're capturing on video in such a manner where the unwitting person that has no idea what gang stalking is or what a perp is or organized mobbing, you want that unwitting person to be able to look at your video and without a shadow of a doubt be able to detect with their own eyes that something is not right with this picture. I do see a pattern of harassment. I do see a pattern of people getting on code around you to come against you. What's really going on? That's the thought process that you want from people that watch your videos. So again, some people go as far as saying that, oh, it's aliens, it's reptilians, it's grays, and that may very well be the case. I'm not denying that it may be something like that, but we can't give evidence of reptilians and grays and all these other alien demonic entities, right? We can't give evidence of that. But what we can give evidence of is the actual people that take it upon themselves to engage in this criminal activity of organized stalking and harassment. Okay, it is very illegal. All right, they are committing crimes against us. So I just want to be very clear on that. So I would say just stick to posting what you can prove rather than something that would be considered more so like conspiracy theory and stuff like that. Okay. I'm not saying that alien stuff doesn't exist, that there's not some other worldly entity at play with all this that's going on. I'm not saying that. It could very well be so, but again, You want to stick with what's tangible, and you want to be able to document that and share it. There are a lot of people online that have no idea of what they're talking about when it comes to organized stalking and harassment. You have so many people that like to give us um, advice on how to deal with it and stuff like that. And I don't think these people are in any position to tell us how to deal with this crime being committed against us, especially if they have never experienced it themselves. This is something that is so inexplainable. Like, I can't even put into words how to explain what this does to you. That's how bad it is. One would truly have to experience this themselves to truly know what it's like to go through this. Okay? As Dave Chappelle has said, and this is like, the slogan that I have across my channel, to call someone crazy is dismissive. I do not understand this person, so they're crazy. These people are not crazy. They are strong people. Maybe the environment is a little sick. So this guy, Talil Chi, was dealing with a sick environment of people that were fucking with him and screwing with him to the point to where it led him in prison. And this is exactly what they want for us. Okay? It's all the better. Instead of them just blatantly coming out and killing us, right? If we can get into a position to where we do something like this and end up in prison, they win. Okay? So that's what you want to try to avoid. Protect yourself by all means. If someone is trying to physically harm you or put hands on you, you have every God-given right to use whatever force you deem necessary to protect yourself. If you are a firearm owner, but you're a hothead and you're a TI, be very, very careful. I wouldn't even advise for you to even have one if you cannot control your anger. Okay? This program can really irk your nerve and really push you to that point and level of wanting to do something of that magnitude. But I'm here to tell you, and I'm highly qualified to speak on this because I've been dealing with this shit all my life. But it wasn't until 2014 was when I started to research online and I found the terms gang stalking and organized stalking and harassment. And then that's what led me to the YouTube videos and people giving testimonies and so on and so forth. So that's how I got all my information and knowledge about what was going on. And I have been through some shit. Okay. If I haven't killed anyone at this point, you don't have to do that either. Okay. So I just want to put that out there. Do whatever it is that you got to do to calm yourself down. Do whatever it is that you got to do um to get away from the situation as best you can. And understand this, no matter where you go, this shit is going to be everywhere. There's no running from it. I've made a previous video of my journeys across the southern part of the United States, a portion or a section of the southern part of the United States, trying to get away from this shit. And they have clowns and flying monkeys everywhere. They're operating out of these fusion centers. You would not believe how many fusion centers. Let me try to look up something right now. One second. Fusion center locations. I know in the state of Florida, they got like a bunch of them. One second. There's a bunch of them in the state of Florida. Let's see here. All right, bear with me. Again, this is just, I didn't really prepare for this. There are fusion centers location. Let's see. See? Look at all these states that they got them in. So let me click on Florida, which is where I'm at. Okay, so they got them in Central Florida, Orlando, Miami. Second. Yeah, Tallahassee, Florida Fusion Center, also known as FFC, headquartered in Tallahassee, Florida. So they are all over the place and all over the United States. I know in Texas, I think Texas is one of the states that has the most fusion centers, if I'm not mistaken, followed by maybe California or something like that. Anyways, look it up yourself, do the research. I saw this stuff the other day and I meant to make a video about it. Okay, National Network of Fusion Centers. I think this is the link that I saw the other day where it had a map and all dots. You see all this shit? You see all these stars? And look at the state of Texas where I was at. You see all those stars in the state of Texas? There was no running from that shit. And this was the area that I was in. Houston, Dallas, all up in this area. Okay? And then Florida, which is where I'm at right now, this is they got them all across the state. So as you can see, there's no running from this shit, you know. You might do good trying some of these states that don't have a star in them, which it looks like every damn state in the United States has a star where these fusion centers are located. Okay? Look all up and down the East Coast. Look at all this shit. It's everywhere. So when I say you can't run from it, trust me, you cannot run from it. When you get to Canada, I think they call it CSIS in Canada or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So, baby, it ain't no running from this shit. Um, so again, do the best that you can to try to just do the best you can to not resort to violence. But again, if these people ever try to put their hands on you in any capacity, you have the God-given right to use whatever force necessary to protect yourself. I will certainly, without hesitation, protect myself. But don't let this get you to the point to where you go out and just start shooting and killing people. You don't want to do that. You have the willpower within you. You got to dig deep, but you got it within you to survive. And I'm talking to those TIs that are on the edge because I know there's quite a few. You hear on the news every week or every month or something. There's always a mass shooting somewhere, and these people were targeted and had no idea of what was going on. A lot of them didn't even know. But I think this whole stalking and harassment, gang stalking stuff is it's being talked about more in the media. So it is getting exposure. It is getting some airplay to where people are more and more people are learning about this shit. So that's a really good sign. You also have the FISA 702 Patriot Act stuff that's supposed to be renewed at the end of the year. I'm not trying to give anybody false hope or anything like that. All I'm saying is just pay attention to what's going on with that. If I watch anything in the news, I'm watching that because that is something that is relevant to the lives of a lot of people that are going through this, including myself. So I just want to be informed and try to see what's going on with it. It's just interesting to watch. At the end of the day, it might all be fake. It might all be just some street theater, as we would call it in the targeted community. And they're not really going to do nothing about it. Or they may not renew the FISA program, but then what about all these other programs? Okay. And they seem to have the spotlight on the FBI for some reason. The FBI is not the only agency involved in this shit. You got the Central Intelligence Agency that's also involved in it. Okay. You've got the NSA that's also involved in it, but you don't really hear too much about those agencies. I believe the street theater aspect of it is CIA because CIA is tied into Hollywood. Okay? It would make sense for them to be in charge of the street theater and all that shit that they do to try to within our line of sight so that we can have some sort of psychological effect from it or whatever. That thing reeks of CIA like crazy. Okay? Think about that. Maybe the FBI is responsible for the slandering and all that. Who knows? I don't know whose role is what, but either way, it's all criminal. And if you have these agencies coming to you unwitting citizens to involve in stalking and harassing and spreading slander against your neighbor, against a person you don't even know, a person that don't even talk, like how could you come against someone like that? But you have some idiots out there that will do it for a paycheck. or for some sort of incentive, money off their rent. They'll get gift cards for free lunches and dinners, maybe get a free trip somewhere. I mean, there's all kind of perks and incentives that these people get. And they look at this as like some sort of game, like it's some sort of game show or something. What was that game show from back in the day, Candid Camera? Like you're playing with people's lives, man. And then when the TI snaps, it's like, oh shit, it's like, do these people want to die? Like, a lot of these people know that if they're taking turns pushing this person's buttons, constantly trying to deprive them of having a life, not everybody is as strong-minded, as strong-willed as some people, man. Some people will snap on you and really fuck you up. But I am cooler than a polar bear's toenails. I've survived this shit for a long time, and I will continue to survive it until the rescue comes, whatever that means. But you guys stay strong. I post these videos for educational purposes. I'm not posting it to complain. I'm beyond the realm of complaining about my targeting. Everything that I post from here on out is just for educational purposes for other targeted individuals that are coming into the awareness of what's happening to them. And I just try to give tips and pointers of how to deal with it because I'm qualified to, because I'm going through it. My targeting has not stopped. I, I I can't tell you how much I've prayed to the Lord and called upon Jesus Christ and all these things that you do, fasting and all this. Um, None of it works. Now there may be some alleviation from a spiritual standpoint, as to making you feel better in a way. But as far as the harassment stopping, there isn't any God you can call on to get this to stop once you're on this list. These people don't care about God. They don't care about Jesus. Matter of fact, they got Christians doing this to people. Okay? These are satanic, hive-minded people that are just mentally gone. They have no soul, no spirit, and they take delight in coming together in a very sadistic manner to inflict harm on a person and to come together and celebrate the destruction of someone who you don't even I mean, I don't even know my perps. A lot of these perps, especially if they're not around my life, like just random people you meet and they just get instructions to do some shenanigan. And I mean, it's crazy, but I don't want to go on too much longer. I just wanted to, for the people that were skeptical on the previous video I posted about Talil Chi, uh, it is a real case. That was a real courtroom. That was a real judge. Um, that's his mugshot. So yeah, post your targeting. Do not be afraid. You want to have balance. It does get um, repetitive, and it's just monotonous to kind of post the same stuff over and over again. You don't have to always run to YouTube to post it, but make sure you have uh, some flash drives to at least keep record of any patterns of harassment you get, especially from individuals that are doing it over and over. If you can capture the same person fucking with you over and over, you could very well have a police case. You could very well have a case that you can actually bring before law enforcement to look into. Now, again, you have law enforcement that are involved, but I believe that there's good and bad in everything. So hopefully, if you do try to file a case, you can get a hold of some officers that truly do care that will help. Okay? I have yet to see that with my targeting. I haven't really gone to law enforcement very much during my targeting because the consensus in the targeting community initially was that when you try to go to the police to explain what's happening to you, even with evidence, their rebuttal is that you're mentally unstable and you should go get some help. And that's exactly what happened with me in Texas. The first time I tried to explain to them what's happening, I had evidence. I wasn't out of my mind. I was speaking clearly, coherent, just as I'm speaking now. Okay? And they kind of had the good cop, bad cop thing going on, which kind of reminds me of Freemasonry. For Satan himself will show himself as an angel of light. Satan has to play both sides, right? In order to get you. Otherwise, if Satan was evil all the time, then you'd know what to look out for. So these cops played the whole good cop, bad cop dynamic. And the bad cop pretty much had to say at the end of the day, "Oh, you need to get some help." So that's the new thing with a lot of these police departments is they want to push you into the uh, mental aspect of this, and there's nothing. We're not crazy, and these people know that we're not crazy. Okay, they're sick. They are the ones that are truly sick. Don't ever think it is you. It is not you. All right. You guys take care. I'll be posting on a regular basis. All right, and to further add to the video, this is why I make it the point to post all my police encounters on my social media. Okay. And I've posted a lot of my encounters with these perpetrators, these treasonists who are here in our country, going around stalking and harassing uh, fellow citizens. Okay, I make it a point to post all that because if anything ever happens, okay, and I'm in a situation with police, it can never be said that, oh, I was hostile with police, he's a known criminal, this, that, and the other. Can't nobody ever say none of that about me. When you go through my videos, there's nothing criminal that I've posted on any of my channels, okay? In dealing with law enforcement, yes, I had their videos to where I got frustrated, raised my voice a little bit. I have every God-given right to do, though. That's protected in the First Amendment, and they know this, okay? So there's nothing wrong with standing your ground and standing firm on your rights. You have a right to do that. Okay? So there will be nothing to indicate that I'm some sort of terrorist or anything like that. Again, I'm a licensed security officer in the state of Texas. If I was a terrorist, why would they allow me to get a license to work in private security? Okay? I don't currently do private security work. I have another job that I work that I've talked about in another video. Okay? But why would they allow that? Ask yourself these questions because I know there are people in the neighborhood that watch my channel, okay? Probably the handlers will watch it and then try to twist up what I say and distribute it to the other people in the area. I'm pretty sure that's how it works to some degree. But again, ask yourself that question. Why would they allow me to work in that capacity if I'm a quote unquote terrorist? Okay, so that's why I post all my police encounters. I still have police encounters I'm going to continue to post that I have not posted to YouTube as of yet, to just so there can be record. Okay, so again, I just wanted to add to that video pertaining to Talil Chi. All right, until the next one.